Hey, bad kids. I'm sorry, I'm late. I'm sitting here getting ready to come on, and I'm looking at myself and I'm like, wow, the more I come on here, the more I'm willing to look like I just rolled out of bed. I'd say that's a personal feat, right? I'm not so like, I have to look, have makeup on and whatnot. Hello, happy new year. Happy 2026. I hope you guys had a beautiful night, whatever you did. Um, I hung out with my little dude. We watched the ball drop, which was awesome because it's like the first year we did it together and it was pretty cool. He napped for a pretty long time and he was up for a long time. So we are running on fumes here, people. What did you guys do for the new year? Oh, hey, Scotty. You got the big D energy. Okay, truth be told, I was laying in bed with my phone watching Every Day with Jay, going over some of this Matthias stuff. It just keeps getting better. Because you know what too? They're trying to do like damage control cleanup. And they have all their flying monkey minions all over the place, just like creating more and more holes. And people like me, I mean, I'm not a big creator. Jay is. People like her, they're going after her, saying that they're the problem and this and that. Lauren did this to herself, and we're going to get into it. John Matthias did this to himself too. And I realized yesterday, for everybody who was with Amy and I from Parawoman Radio, she's wonderful, by the way. She is so wonderful. When we were together yesterday, I went through the chat. I can't look at the chat and focus with a co-host as well. I get all, you guys know me. We're acquainted, bad kids. You know how I operate. I can't walk and chew gum. I looked in the chat and some of you guys didn't even know what was going on further with the John Matthias hidden true crime stuff. It got juicy, kids. It keeps getting worse. John Matthias, who claims to be a forensic psychologist and clinical psychologist, turns out that he's a fraud. He is a PhD. They've only found 2 cases that he worked as a expert in like a sentencing phase of a pedophile, and he was for the defense and tried to get leniency. And we're going to go over that. I have the document. Made the odds forever be in your favor with me reading it, but we're going to do it. And then I have a video and we'll talk about it. We'll kind of go back to the start, right? This has been going on for months. Lar Matthias did some dirt in the background. Who doesn't, right? Listen, your girl, I can get messy, right? I can get messy. But the difference is, right? See, I don't, what the part I do not agree with is the infiltrating victims' families where you're making millions of dollars and you're bringing them in and the behavior is weird. I don't want to, Kobe, the Lori Vallow, Daybell's son, does not want to be drug into this. I understand why he's been through enough. But they re-victimized him. You have this psychologist being like, I wish I could adopt you, after his entire family just poof, disappeared off the planet, murder and all the things. And then you have her infiltrating Kresha, right? You've seen, I've been on a panel or two with Kresha. You guys know her. She's been with Turtle Boy. She's on with Jay. She was on with Jay last night. She infiltrated that family, the grandparents of one of the deceased children, and Kresha is the biological aunt to said little boy. And she rifled up chaos there. People like this are soul-sucking, just demons. They need chaos. They thrive off of it, right? But they don't want us to know. They want to look, cookie cutter clean, and I'm so perfect. No, those are the ones you got to watch out for. The ones that pretend to be perfect, want to be perfect. Her plastic surgery is very telling of her need to be perfect, and her outward appearance is very important to her. You can tell, right? I mean, who doesn't want to look good, right? I do. I want to be healthy and I want to look good, right? And I wouldn't even be talking about her looks if she wasn't a piece of shit, right? Like I would just not deal with her. I stopped watching her a long time ago. But then she's just drug in so many people that didn't deserve it. The victims are the problem, right? Creators go after creators all the time, as we know. It's unfortunate. I don't agree with anyone going real life, right? There's reporters like Brian Enton and um, Bob Ward here in Massachusetts, or Ted Daniels. Ted Daniels isn't having dinner with Anna Walsh's family. He's reporting outside or in the office, and he takes off because that's ethical, right? These people have no boundaries, no ethics. And it gets worse, right? So Laura Matthias is a journalist. She was kind of bottom of the barrel. She and up here in Massachusetts, she was the one that that would get sent to the seawall during a hurricane, and you'd see her with like with with the windbreaker, like, Dad, it's real windy here. She was that, right? And she's LDS, she's Mormon, and she was a 35-year-old woman, once divorced, which is, I think, shame. It's like a shame thing in LDS culture, from what I have gathered. And she got divorced. She was living here in Boston. Can we all take a sigh of relief that she left Boston? Can you imagine her in Boston? If you guys have watched her before, she doesn't blend in. You know what I mean? Doesn't look like a local. I don't know. It's my hi Wayne. It's good to see you. This is why I can't go into chat, kids, because I want to be hi Wayne. Yes, it was a great holiday. I hope you did too. Did you watch the ball drop? You're on the West Coast, right? So it was hours after us. Yeah, real shocker. Like women said, oh my God. Listen, don't send the unsoliciteds. Okay. Anywho. So she was living here in Boston with her ex-husband. She was oh, hey on top. Good to see you, baby. She's living here in Boston with her first husband. Her first husband can't stand her. That's unfortunate. I mean, he could have been a piece of shit too. I don't know. Wasn't there. I don't know him. This is just what I'm gathering, right? Critical thinking, discernment, vibes off of people. I can feel her gross vibes through the screen. So she's 35. She meets John on a dating app. Now, she self-admittedly said that she was going on like 2 dates a day, like 2, 3 dates a day to eat. That sounds like a streetwalker to me, but that's just my opinion. So I've never gone on like multiple dates a day. Like, even if you aren't like getting it in, like that's a little much. You know what I mean? That's a lot of juggling. That's a lot of phone calls. That's a lot of like, that's just a lot, right? Like, I don't want to see anyone that much. She's going on multiple dates. She meets John on a dating app, I believe. Don't hold me to that. This is all alleged. I do this for educational research only, just to expose assholes and to make sure that the next victim that they try to sink their teeth in has some references as to the people that they are and that they're dealing with, so that this does not happen to another family like it did the Vallow, Woodcock, Easton family. Okay. I know that a lot of people in my chat are victims of some type of crime, trauma, and things like that. And if you can put yourself into these vulnerable victim shoes that don't know whether they're coming or going, and you have a predator or two, like Laura Matthias and John Matthias, preying on it and soul sucking you and getting everything they possibly can out of you until the bitter fucking end, when they try to sue you for exposing you. That's who we're dealing with, right? That's who we're dealing with. She meets John. They get married very fast. Okay, they look like the odd couple. You know, they're the couple that you walk into if you're in like a restaurant and they come walking in. You're like, I bet she's with them for money, right? Judgy as hell. I judge. We judge here. We speculate and we judge. They get married. They have a baby right away. I understand. I was an older mother, right? I was 34, almost 35 when I had my son. So I get it. Like your clock's ticking and at 34, 35, they consider you a geriatric pregnancy and that's not fun to hear. And she wanted a child, good for her, right? And I'm all for however parents want to be. Like there are people at 50 years old and get pregnant, like more power to you. I am not judging. This is their family. However, when you come on here acting like holier than thou and the person that you truly are is a 180 from who you present, we're talking about it. Okay. You made it our problem with the 9-hour live. And now we're going to talk about it because you keep giving. And so do your minions. So does Megan. Megan is Lori Vallow's cousin. Lori Vallow is in jail for the rest of her life for conspiracy to kill her late husband. She conspiracy to kill 2 of her children, conspiracy to kill her new husband's wife, and she got her brother to do it. And so Lauren's not only shacked up and cozying up with the victim's family, but she's cozying up with the defendant's family. And not just Megan. Daybell's sister-in-law, I think she was like a Grayson to her. She wanted to skin her and wear her. She was very pretty. I forget her name. Heather Daybell. That was my opinion. It was cringy. She like fangirled her. Like, I hate the way people try to find you and take advantage of you. Yeah. Listen, it comes in many forms. Okay. Like people can weaponize kindness. And even though it can look like generosity and I'm such a good person, it's actually preying on people. It's preying on vulnerability. It's looking for an opportunity and taking whatever you can from it. And that's what these people did. And it's not like they were interviewing them on the steps of a courthouse where they were going out to dinner. They were having their 8-year-old son who knew, in my opinion, way too much for a young child, calling these people pawpaw. And my son's so excited to see him. Like there's just like weirdness. It's not professional. So if you want to say that you're a professional something, act like it, right? I'm not professional here. Okay. We are not professional. I swear I say all the words I should not say. That's why I have a hard time when I'm streaming with somebody else because you guys know me. I say it all. And I know that other creators don't do that. Right. Not here. We're not professional. We don't do anything over here, but just call it like it is. So, if you claim to be something, be it, right? But I don't think she's capable. I don't think she's capable of actually being the professional that she says she is. Apparently, listen, I'm a drug addict. This is not a dig. Like, I get it. Xanax can make you messy. Apparently, she got fired from her newscasting job out at the Hurricanes with the windbreaker going, "We're here at the seawall." Yeah, she got fired for taking too much Xanax. Listen, that shit'll put you on your ass. Been there, sister. I get it, but she got fired, and that's how she ended up with John because she was jobless, homeless, through a divorce, and she was just looking to get a doctor to marry her and have a child so that she had the picture perfect life. Right. But then you find out that she's never home. She's living with Grayson. John's raising the child. God love him. Right. But like, in my opinion, okay, actually, I'm not even going to talk about that because all a child needs is love. It doesn't matter from one parent, 2 parents, a child just needs love. And as long as he's loved, that's all that matters. I'm not going to bring up the child because it's wrong. But how Lauren acts toward the child, we'll get to that after. So they started their channel on the backs of the murders of JJ Vallow, Tylee Ryan, Tammy Daybell, Charles Vallow. Am I missing anybody, kids? Am I missing anybody on top? Yeah, it is obvious. It's so obvious. Yeah. So this is what we're doing, right? So they built their channel, they got married, they had their child, and then they started their podcast from their kitchen table. Good for you, entrepreneurs. Go do your damn thing, right? No harm, no foul, right? You're not a piece of shit yet. But hindsight's 2020, and she's LDS. John is into theology. He probably knows all about the religion. And she picks cases surrounding the Mormon church, which, maybe she feels like she's an expert in that. I don't feel like I'm an expert in Catholicism. Like I was all the way up to confirmed, but like I still don't know when to stand and kneel. You know what I mean? She's in the mix of all these LDS cases. And Lori Vallow happened, and this is when they started their podcast. And John got up there with his reader glasses and his prophesizing, and I'm so smart, and talking down to the audience because we could never be as smart as him or understand the magnificence of his mind, right? And Lauren's just sitting there like a trophy wife, like, that's right, yeah, that's right. And she rides the coattails of her husband's PhD to infiltrate her way into these victims' lives. It's come out recently that she actually reached out to Colby, who lost essentially his mother, because she's in prison for the rest of his life and he has something to do with her, unfortunately. Like, that sucks. That's awful. No one wants for that to happen with their mom, right? Lost his siblings, lost his dad, all in like a short period of time. He has his own family, his own wife and kids. He has a lot going on. But then Lauren comes swooping in and emailing somebody to reach out to Kobe, like, my husband can help you. First of all, that's unethical. You cannot reach out. Providers cannot reach out to patients to offer help. You just can't. That's against the rules. And that could go against his license. I'm not saying for anybody to call. No one should contact them. No one should go real life. Stop going real life. We can talk about it here and karma will sort them out, right? So that happened. And then she is reaching out to the victims. She's just doing it. And I can see the appeal to her, right? She's attractive. Hey, I hate evil too, baby. You're not evil. You're the head of the HR department. I'm happy you're here. It's good to see you. I hate all evil. It's gross. It's gross. Yeah, I can see the appeal. She's attractive. He comes off very smart, right? Like, I in healthcare, if you're around doctors enough, you can see that they hold themselves with certain types of confidence, and they're very confident. Usually physicians and any type of provider are very confident in themselves, and John comes across that way. But in my opinion, he's always come across as he feels slighted by life. I don't know about you. I don't know if you guys actually watched him, but when I watched him simp for Brian Koberger and like being like almost personally upset that people were calling him an incel, like, and he was defending this man who committed 4 murders in one night. And he's like, oh, well, he's brilliant. He's brilliant. And it's also, wait, no, because you think you're brilliant and you have the same isms as Brian Koberger. You just have a wife. You're an incel with a wife. That's what you look like. That's what you sound like, right? My opinion. That's why I stopped watching you. You're disappointing, and it's going to keep getting disappointing because it keeps getting worse, right? So he tells his audience, and this is another thing too. Like, people come on the YouTubes and just spew off all of this stuff. Like, us sleuthers aren't going to look your ass up. If you're saying that you're a criminal psychologist and you evaluate sexual predators regularly, you're in jails regularly, you're being an expert witness regularly, and then this stuff comes out, like, sleuthers, redditors are gonna fuck you. They're gonna light you up, and they did. He is a PhD and he is in psychology, but he has not worked where he said he has worked as an adjunct professor since 2013. It's 2026. Is that like a huge, like, no. I mean, he did work there. He is educated. You can tell he's book smart, right? He loves his books. Like, you can tell. Like, I'm not dogging him for that. But why are you lying? Right? Because like, where there's one lie, there's many lies, in my opinion. Then he says he's an expert. He's always in the jails and this and that. Well, the sleuthers came up with 2 cases 2 cases that he was an expert witness in, one being a sentencing for a pedophile. And we're going to get to that because he's saying, "Oh, I'm for the victims. I'm for the." No. Apparently both of them have a dollar sign of what they're willing to just say or do for a dollar, because expert witnesses get paid. We know that from the Karen Reed. Look how much all the state's witnesses who went up there and lied and put their reputations on the line for a dollar, right? Like the Hyde girl, she's probably brilliant, but she's a fucking idiot because she sold her soul for a dollar. She knew better. I'm in the same field, not as smart as her, and I knew she was wrong, right? But she wanted the money, and it was offered to her. You sway a little bit of this, you sway a little bit of that, and you get the client what they want. That's what John was doing for the defense for a pedophile. Peter, yeah. Hi, Crack and Swag. It's good to see you, baby. Jessica, yeah, Jessica Hyde, exactly. Friggin' dirty, yeah. I mean, experts like the crash daddies. I don't think that they weren't. You could tell that they were just educated and wanted to get the information out. Imagine being those scientists and doing all the research that the state didn't do, and coming out and being like, she didn't do this, and then having to deal with Hank Brennan. His claim to fame was representing Whitey Bulger, who was going away for life for the rest of his life, and he didn't need to lawyer. He just had to stand there and represent him. But his claim to fame's Whitey Bulger, James Bulger. A lot of people patting themselves on the back on and off YouTube, as we can see. So John tells everybody that he's a victim's advocate, and he works with he does psychosexual evaluations and all of this kind of stuff, which is interesting. I always found that to be interesting. The way people's minds work and tick is fascinating. Well, it's a stretch of the truth, right? Because he doesn't work. He's an at-home dad. Lauren's the breadwinner per her mouth, allegedly. I don't know. I'm not there. I'm just gathering information, right? Pay attention to detail. Usually the evil is in what do they say? The something's in the pudding. I can't think of the term right now. Hold on 1 second. We have Wayne. Here is something y'all YouTube creators should know. They are number one place to go for info according to the latest poll ticket. Wow. That's unfortunate. It's like mainstream media though. It's like people who are like, I watch Fox News every day. You're doing yourself a disservice. They pay for ads. They pay for everything. Listen, I'm not like a YouTuber. I'm just a girl on the internet. Like I don't even monetize over here yet. Like this stuff fascinates me, and this is an outlet for me to talk about it with y'all, right? But I understand what you're saying. Here's my pushback to that, Wayne. They can be the number one, right? But when they go to start looking for a new victim family, maybe the family will do some research and stumble upon Unsolved Amy Boston or Difficult Research or Everyday with Jay. They have way bigger platforms than me, okay? I'm nowhere near that. But maybe that family will be like, oh, I don't think I can work with them. And we saved them a lot of hassle and heartache, right? So the people can push them all they want, because often frauds get to the top anyway, because the ladder to climb, in my opinion, Lauren seems like she'd step over anyone to get to the top, including her family. Right? She's crying about her family being sick, her mom being on hospice, which is fucking tragic. I can't even imagine. But then she's like, oh, but they know I should be at the trial. No, you should be with your family, in my opinion. You should be with your mom who's like on hospice. You should be with your dying brother. If that's a road you're going to take as an excuse, then that's what you should have done. You did what you wanted to do. People do what they want to do. When people listen, this is something I learned in my 40 some odd years on this earth. People do what they want to do. Okay. If a girl doesn't call you, it's because she didn't want to call you. If a guy doesn't call you, it's because he didn't want to. If a guy doesn't go out with you, it's because he didn't want to. If I don't go out with you, it's because I don't want to. People do what they want to do, right? And Lauren's no exception. Hey, Amy in the backseat. Hi, Ruby. It's good to see you, honey. We're just gonna stop for a second. I'm just saying that people are now watching YouTube. Oh yeah, 100. Absolutely. No, I'm not saying it towards you, but like, hopefully they are really big. They have almost 500,000 subscribers, which I don't know if they're all like legit, but that's none of my business, right? Like, if you're buying subs, that's sad. Like, it's sad if you're buying. I don't know if they are, but um. I'm glad that people are going outside of mainstream media to get their news, right? But in the same vein as that, you run into these assholes who are vultures that are preying upon victims and making their tragedy even more tragic, right? So they just put Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell away, and they went and they had a talk in front of the courts and cameras and people just in their business. Like, they didn't sign up for this. They didn't sign up for people filming them walking to the grocery store or wondering, picking into their lives. They didn't sign up for that. This is not their fault. And people like sharks in the water smell this and they attach themselves. Keep your friends closer, your enemies closer. Laura made sure that she suffocated. In my opinion, from what I gather, she suffocated these people and claimed them so that she could get all of the benefit, whatever that benefit was. It doesn't even need to necessarily be monetary, right? It's attention by being like, I'm close with them. They're my friends. Kobe's like an adopted son. Kay and Larry is like my son's grandfather. Meanwhile, they just went to court to put away the people who unalived their grandson in Tylee. Poor Tylee. Who did she have? I mean, Kobe, right? But then they're overfriending the son of the murderers, and then they're friending the new husbands. It's very odd and too enmeshed, right? In my opinion. And it's weird. And it came off that way prior to all of this, right? It came off weird prior to all this. So let's skip forward. Hi, Amy. Oh, hold on. Did I miss someone? Who's Joe? Hi, Joe. Hi, Robin. It's good to see you. Yeah. She's not brilliant. I mean, she was wrong. But purposely. I'm sure, like, we was talking about Jessica Hyde, the IT expert. I'm sure she is extremely credentialed and she knows what she was doing. That was willful ignorance. She knew what the fuck she was doing. Hi, ATS. Amba in the house. Kids, go over and sub to Amba. She has the hidden gems after her and fake accounts and talking shit about her and all of that. Like, I get that we're talking shit, but I don't go over to hidden true crime and talk any shit. I talk shit here. Okay. And they'll be in my comments. They're talking about her. They're talking about, go over there and sub to Amber. And she does streams on this as well. In other cases, she's really good. I'm a frequenter over at ATS News. Go over there and sub to her. And if you see any gems at her, tell them I sent you. So mean. Like, I get that I'm talking shit. Oh, Joe Biffle's here. I don't see Joe. Biff. Hold on. Joe Biffle. Hey, baby. It's good to see you, honey. It's been a while. It has been a while. What did Amber say? Oh, Joe Biffle. They claim they don't watch. Yeah, right. Dr. Andrew can fuck all the way off. All right. Because he's in everybody's comments. And if you're going to tell me that's not Grayson, you're bugging. They have their team of flying monkeys. It's Grayson, Megan. I watch Megan's response to people like yourself and stuff from last night. And she listen, the last thing you want to do to people like us that are exposing is like up the ante. Like, they're like pushing for more. Like, you want us to go look into these people? Are you sure? Are you sure? It's kind of like that thing where you're like, someone goes to tell your son, like, go get your mama. And he's like, are you sure? Are you sure you want me to do that? Um, Oh, good. Yay. Go over to ATS News if you're not over there. She is fantastic. And I'll see you over there in chat too. But she covers this, and the monkeys of hidden true crime and the gems, they are cultish. And a lot of our chat knows all about that. The blinders, loyalty for no reason, put pedestals, like, and it's weird to do that with strangers, right? These people are parasocial. You get you feel like you know them because you watch them on the screen, but in actuality, you have no idea who these people are, and this is exactly why you have no idea who these people are. They show you what they want you to see, and we're finding that out. And we're finding that out because sleuths not only have been going at Lauren or looking into Lauren, they started looking into John. Now, I was a huge John fan. And originally I would like tune in to watch. I found him to be like geeky and kind of like, I don't know, not charming, but he's kind of no confidence and like kind of like Eeyore, like do do do. And I'm fascinated by psychology, and so I would tune in, right? And then as the time started going on, started to feel bad for him. Like, oh, is he being used as like a babysitter? Like, oh, what's this? Well, it turns out that he's no better. He's no better. So we're going to go over a document that Hella Excited Utterance posted. Thank you very, very, very much for posting the document that we're going to go over. So this is a document that was found from, I believe it was Utah. We're going to find out. Okay. He was hired as an expert for a sentencing phase of a child predator. Okay. Now, this is the man who says he's a victim advocate and, oh, I love you guys and you guys are like family. No, no, no. Why don't you talk to the little girls that the client that you lied on sentencing documents and you fudged tests to get him leniency? Tell the 7-year-old girl that got tortured by this man that you're a victim's advocate. Did you think about the kids that he hurt and that he was probably going to continue to hurt when you asked for leniency for a fucking dollar? You pig. You're part of the problem. I don't like child predators. I don't like child abusers. And you are just one increment above them by helping them get off with a lighter sentence and send these girls back into the lion's den because you needed a paycheck. Did Laura need her Botox? Was that a Botox check? Was that a Botox check or the facelift? Or was it the eyebrow? Which was it, John? Because you don't go to the gym. You're not doing anything with yourself, actually. Okay? You're doing nothing but reading books. And your wife's out there probably getting it in with anyone who will give her attention while using the money to get plastic surgery. My opinion, that's just what it looks like. And so we're going to go over the document of his sentencing, and the state lights him up as a fraud and a liar. And he fudged documents to get a known pedophile who physically hurt children. And he said that he was not moderate to high risk to offend again. These people offend chronically. I've never known a pedophile that's ever just done it once. Have you? Do you guys know anyone who's just done it once? No. Oh, crack is whack. When she's at Grayson's house, she is getting it in with someone, the pool boy, the fucking whoever, John's friend from the mountains. She's fucking hoe bag. You know it. And can you imagine them bumping uglies? Him playing Macklemore in the bedroom. She comes home at Christmas time. I was listening to, a wood chipper. I can't hate. Stop it. I love you. Apparently, she came home for the holiday and she's like walking around in her like ugly sweater, and he's in the Hi, Nunya Ship Business. It's good to see you. It's been forever. I saw you in chat the other day or earlier in Jimmy's. It's good to see you, baby. Um, he was playing Macklemore. Can you imagine John playing Macklemore? What? And she goes in the bedroom and like, is like, do you want to sit down? Like, ew, I can't even imagine him naked. Ugh. I mean, you know what I mean? Ugh. Listen, I'm all about personality. Personality can make someone very attractive, right? That's like someone could be like not like stereotypically what people would think was attractive, but if they're funny and they have personality, that like ups them up, right? I've dated some like mediocre looking men that were absolutely fucking hilarious and alphas, and they were amazing for the time being, right? I'm fat. No, you're not, Crackers I am too. I'm a big bitch. I'm a thick girl. I am a thick girl. I'm thick. What does ATS say? And she is the type to only follow through with any. Yes, yeah. She's a drunk texter. She does things and then doesn't remember them. Apparently, she has an Ambien issue. Ambien may have you doing fuck wackadoodle shit. Ambience, you take enough of that shit. You won't. Oh my god, what's happening over at Grayson's? You know what I mean? Is she over at Grayson's because Grayson won't stop her from drinking the jug of wine and Ambien? Inquiring minds want to know. Hey baby, it's good to see you, Caddy. Since when I'm 5. Oh my god, no, but you know what I mean. And I'm being extra petty because these people gross me out, but it's not about looks. But you know what I mean, that like personality can go a long way, right? I've gone out with someone that is very attractive, right? But as soon as they open their mouth, you're like, oh my God, I want to go home. Ugh, right? So it can go either way. Hi, Anderson. They were both drunk in Boise. Oh, yeah. Yes, they were. They certainly were at that table when she was like, they're gonna murder me. Ah. Can you imagine her living in Boston? I want to know what pot. Okay. I'm gonna put money. It wasn't Mattapan. Yeah. I was not Mattapan. How does she leave her husband for long lengths? Worse, yeah, exactly. Dude, she leaves her kids. I go to work. Okay, so I used to work from home, right? A lot for years since I was pregnant. I worked from home. And I worked in information technology, and I've since moved on to a different department. I'm out of the house every day, right? My kid's in kindergarten anyway. Do you know, I feel guilty. Even like he gets home at a certain time and I get home like 2 hours later. I feel guilty about that. And this bitch is leaving for months at a time. What? Like, as a mother, I don't know how, like, I don't. Like, there are some people that have to. I get that. And like, I even like custody things. Like, I have a neighbor that she takes 1 week and the other week. Like, I don't have that. So I don't know what it feels like. But being me who I am, like, I get home an hour and a half after my kid gets home from kindergarten, and I'm like, oh my God, did you miss me? Oh, hey, Nick, it's good to see you. It is unnatural. I still like my kid still like sleeps in my bed. You know what I mean? I think I need it more than he does. John can psychoanalyze that. Yeah. Oh, well, exactly. Out of the fire. Into yeah. You guys are funny. Okay. So we're gonna go over the document that was found, and hella excited utterance. She's been doing stellar work on this too. She actually like works, like she actually does the research. I'm just here to regurgitate and give my opinions. This is only for entertainment purposes and research and opinion commentary, and we're just going to talk about it. Oh, we have Bruce too. Stop it. I know. No, like Grayson's not my type of girl. She's just not my type of girl. And not for nothing, I can't remember the last time I hung out willingly with a 23-year-old for fun. Like, that's very telling about Lauren too. It's a control thing. She knows that she can control a 23-year-old, right? If I hang out with my 16-year-old nephew, I hang out with a baby. Lauren's like, what, 50? I mean, she looks it or close to it. She's in her definitely in their mid 40s. And Grayson's 23. She's young enough to be your daughter, and she's doing all of her dirt, right? Lauren knows what she's doing. Lauren knows exactly what she's doing. She's not comfortable with women her age because we see right through her. The women that started like leaking all those texts about Gigi and Kay and Crusher and everything, she couldn't deal with women her age because we see right through her. We're worldly. We've been there, done that. I have been around enough toxic people in my life to spot that motherfucker from a mile away. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me, you guys too. I know it. I know all of you. I have been around enough toxic people that you can spot it. But a 23-year-old doesn't have enough experience. Just another clean slate victim. Although Raison's a willing participant. Do you know that like blank stare she has? Scary, right? Two of the same. Your son's 23. My God, yeah, exactly. Ahoy, ahoy. It's good to see you, Bruce. And Lauren is prettier, and yeah, exactly. Exactly. Another power. That's another move. A lot of girls that I've known in my past that are extremely attractive and extremely insecure, their best friend is butt fucking ugly. Or at least they think so, right? It's come out of their mouth. It makes them feel better to be the pretty one. They're always the pretty one. There's no competition, right? There's women out there that only hang out with gay men because there's no competition. You know, it's all psychological games. It's toxic people, and then they link up together. We don't know Grayson's past. Why is she 23 and fucking sister wives with a YouTube channel? And she was with Annie Elise before. How long? She hasn't been with Lauren that long, and she's only 23. Why was she with Annie Elise? You know what I mean? Oh, I love Jimmy. I love me some Jimmy. I'm a huge Jimmy fan. There's no Jimmy bad talk over here. That's my dude. What does it say? Grayson is showing her. Mm-hmm. Yeah. When I get all fired up, I'll open my eyes and I look like a crazy person, but hers is like chronically like that. I know that there's like medical issues that all the whites of people's eyes can, but I think she's just, the lights are on, but no one's home, if you know what I'm saying. You catching my drift? You picking up what I'm putting down? Lauren's very calculated. Mark my words, she is calculated. This is why I'm South Central Wisco. I'm the only. I love it. Exactly. I think there's a level of her wanting to be Annie Elise too. So she wanted Grayson who worked. Yes. Skin you and wear you. The closest thing she could get to Annie Elise was her producer, otherwise known as the StreamYard runner. Yes, absolutely. She wanted all the things that Annie Elise is. And she met Grayson and was like, sold, come home with me. And she really brought her home like a stray dog. What? Oh yeah, that's oh my God. I popped into Jimmy's earlier. I popped into Jimmy's earlier and he was on our show. We did some games over here. He's so much fun. He is so much fun. And you know what? The one thing about Jimmy is the same on camera as he is off, like the same person. And I love that about him. Yeah, recruiting someone who worked for yeah, exactly. And I thought it was awful too. That like wait, hold on, time out. Do you think that Lauren knew that the script that she read was almost verbatim a script from Annie Elise? Why do people do scripts? I like to wing it. You know what I'm saying? This is much more fun. We're right here. You know, I'm a loose cannon. You know, I don't think I could stick with a script. But you're reusing script. Why is a 23-year-old reusing scripts? Like, did she write it or did Annie write it and she took it? like took pictures of it or something. I don't know. How do you get that? She's only 23. Oh, thanks. Hey, it's tech a business. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I bet she takes notes. Yeah, I think she probably 100%. And I bet she's not the only creator that does that she does that too, right? Yeah, 100% she knew. Yeah, and plays dumb. Nunya, to employ former workers of your competitors in hopes they give up. Yes, proprietary information. She wants to know all the tricks and trade. How did you make 1 million subscribers? How did you go on tour? How can I get away from my husband and my child? Okay, listen, my son is a lot of work. Okay. My son is the love of my life. I was actually talking to Makings earlier and he saved me for myself, I believe. Like he is my dude. Okay. It's a lot of work. I have never once in my life ever referred to him out of his name. For her to text, I've never met a more needy toddler ever. She called her I've never met a more needy toddler. First of all, toddlers are supposed to be needy. That's when you grow them up to be able to do for themselves, Lauren. That's part of parenting. In my opinion, just with all the information coming out, you know those people that just want to be parents for the status trophy of it and don't actually want the work of it? That's what I got. That's what I get from her, right? Being a parent's fucking hard, okay? It is hard. It is draining. But it's not him. It's the fact that you have to like make money and pay bills. And just because you're sick, it doesn't mean that you can sleep in. Or if he wants to stay up until 4 a.m. because it's New Year's and he napped and mom was at work all day, like that's what you got to do. Right. I don't get to run away from my responsibility because I chose to have my son. He didn't ask to be here. And I remember I say that to I don't have to say it to myself, right? But my son didn't ask to be here. I wanted him here. He's the best thing that ever happened to me. I've never talked out of his name. And to see a parent so like, I can't wait to get away from my kid and my husband. What? And there are people out there that just have kids for status symbols. And that makes me sad for the children because the children didn't ask to be here. And the fact that they're bringing him in saying he has mental health issues because of his mom's hysteria, that's child abuse. That is definition of child abuse. I'm not saying that they should be arrested or anything like that, but like call a fucking spade a spade. That's abuse. Right? God, I can't walk and chew gum. Thank you, Amber. I'm not cut out for it. Listen, there's some people that are not. My best friend does not want kids. She loves her life, right? I was 34, almost 35 when I had kids. I didn't know if I would ever have kids. And I would like, I kind of like being that age, I was just like, well, maybe that's not in my cards. Right. And I got scared. Like the more the birth came I had him at 8 months, but the closer that came, I was scared shitless. And I couldn't believe they were allowing me to leave the hospital with this little itty bitty thing. There was no music. There was no limo. There was no anything. It was 2020 and they rolled me out with a mask. And I was like, what am I doing? But you figure it out and you fall in love. I fell in love with my son when I could feel him moving around. As soon as I found out that I was having him, I was like, oh, and I didn't even know it was a boy yet. And I knew his name and I called him the name in vitro, it's like, the non-maternal instinct is so loud with her. And the only person suffering is the child. And it's not just her. There's tons of parents like that. And unfortunately, you land in therapy for decades because you're like, my parents. Didn't Annie Elise say something? Yeah, she did. She did. She confronted. She apparently Grayson talked to her about it. And they hashed out, and Grayson started like dropping nuggets, like there was like trouble in paradise between her and I bet there was. Grayson looks crazy, just like a crazy lady. And I listen, people who hop from creator to creator to creator, there's something wrong with that. Like you're either clout chasing or you want some notoriety, you want something, right? Because why don't you go work for a magazine? No, you go to creators. Often creators are a lot of drama, right? Especially the ones who are like, "I don't want drama. This isn't a," there's a lot of drama behind the scenes, right? They just don't show you. Look at point A, Annie. Annie is like very cookie cutter, and look at the disaster she had working for her, that she brought scripts to some another creator, right? It's like they it's messy. I was 33. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not for nothing. I love the fact that I'm an older mom. I feel like I'm a very present, good mom. And I don't know that I would have been that way in my I actually, I mean, with my behavior back then, I definitely wouldn't have been the parent I am today. But I do like being an older parent. But it's not about like like we were just saying, like I brought him into this world. He didn't ask to be here, right? I give him the best life I possibly can with the resources I have, and that's it. And I'm not like actively trying to get away from my kid, right? Like when I do this, he's with a family member that loves him as much as I do, and he's comfortable with her, and this is kind of like an outlet for me to do something for me, something that I love. um but I'm either working or with him, right? And so I don't I can't fathom doing that, right? And I know there's tons of people that fly for jobs. I just don't have that life, so I don't know what it feels like. Maybe it's normal for her because she's been doing it for so. I don't know. I don't know. There's tons of people who do it for different reasons. We're just talking about this specific situation, and it's a little shady. I feel bad for her son. I used to feel bad for John. I don't feel bad for John anymore. I don't. He's a willing participant. Yeah, there's not a listen, kids, you don't push a kid out with a manual. All right. They just don't. They don't come out with a manual. And I walked out of that hospital like a scared chicken. Yeah, baby Grunk. Yeah, I gave birth at 35 weeks to a 10-pound baby. He could have walked out of me. Yeah, Annie said something. I forget who Grayson reached out to. It might have been that Cece lady, and she mentioned that her and Annie hashed it out behind the scenes and talked about it or whatever, and then alluded to the fact that there was trouble in paradise working for Annie that she didn't want to talk about. So trying to throw dirt on Annie's name. I've heard shit about Annie in the past. Like, listen, there are creators that have a lot of things to say about me that are their perception and not true. So I take that stuff with a grain of salt either way until you have like proof, right? Um, yeah. So and I don't trust her word at all. She's an agent for hidden true crime. And he should have brought, yeah, I would be pissed. I would be pissed. And I don't, and the thing is, what would be worse if Grayson's not the one who wrote it, right? Yeah, too much drama. It's too much. And I am pretty sure that no, I'm not talking about creators in particular. I know a lot of shush of creators. Um YouTube culture is often thriving off of drama, and you have to have really thick skin, and you have to be able to give it. And or you have to be like Annie, where you are squeaky clean, you work by yourself, you do your pre-recorded videos, and you don't get messy. YouTube is messy. And this is exactly why, right? Because it's not like CNN is just reporting on things anymore. You have a single mother in Boston all up in your shit because you made it my problem, right? You have victims now with platforms that are calling your ass out. It's a whole nother world now. It's a whole nother world. But in my opinion, from what I see, YouTube is breeded drama culture, and viewers suck it up, right? Because it's like it's interactive TV. But what people forget is like these are real people with real lives. People go real life, and no one should be trying to destroy other people, right? And Lauren's like, they're trying to destroy me. Well, no, you tried to destroy victims and other creators behind the scenes while you smiled in the camera and made everyone believe that you were some great person. I didn't know half of it. I got a weird vibe from her, but I didn't know all this, right? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Aw, thanks. I'm such a boy mama. Wicked. Yes. And the schools here are so good. And the bus driver, like he loves the bus, and he's such a boy. but he's such a mama's boy. You know what I mean? Like, I look forward to him being like, "Mommy," and giving me a hug and a kiss when I get home from work. And like, I want to cry thinking about it. Like, there is nothing better than your child's love, or if you've just family love, like that real love. They just love you just for fucking existing, and they don't want anything from you necessarily. I mean, my son's like, get me Robux or whatever, even though I cut that out. I'm just using that as an example. Um, they just want, like, her son just wants her to be there. Like, even if she sat on the couch exhausted on her phone, someone just said, it's your presence there. Imagine like months and months at a time, you're wondering like, when's she coming home? I don't know. It just breaks my heart. So what you're saying is kids don't come with directions. No, kids don't come with directions. And I birthed a whole thug. A whole thug. I birthed myself. And I argue with a 5-year-old. And I'm like, he is my mini me. The same everything. He even like uses his hands now. He'll be like, so no. Oh my God. Yeah, too much drama. All right. I gotta keep moving on here. Sorry. I could talk the pants up and down here. So we're over that. On top, plush, she's big enough to stay up. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. I know a couple of times during other trials, she would fly and get her son. So that was nice. Go out and do things together. Especially, I know being a working parent, that sometimes you feel like you don't actually spend quality time with your kid because you're just constantly going, you're constantly working, you're trying to like schedules and this, that the only time you really get to spend quality time together is when you're away, or like I go and get a hotel room to go swimming for the weekend or something to feel like we're doing something together, right? That's not everyday monotonous. Yeah, I asked the OB, I'm like, so what do I do? And he was like, you'll figure it out. Oh my God. I hate the drama. Yeah. It's depressing and it's soul sucking. But the thing, it sucks you in. It sucks you in. It sucks in viewers. And there are people that love misery. They love to hate, right? They love to hate. They want to hate somebody. There always has to be a good and a bad person. I'm not big on blind loyalty. Like I'm loyal. I like people, but I'm not gonna follow, right? Like these gems are like, they put these people on a pedestal. Don't put anyone on a pedestal. Nobody. Especially people like this. No, hold on one second. Kung Fu Panda. It's done. Sorry, guys. All right. Oh, happy New Year, Steve. It's good to see you. Happy you're here. 10 years what? I'm so behind. Sandwiches from Ann's Market's in Norfolk now. So good. When I go over to Gillette Stadium, I'll stop over there. Wicked good. They're Italians. Stop it, Nanya. Stop it. You guys are ever in Norfolk, Massachusetts, go to Ann's Market and get the Italian sandwich. Amazing. It's the balls. Okay, let's get into the document because Kung Fu Panda is already up my ass. So that's fun. He's like, get offline. I want you to come hold my feet. Okay. I am going to read the document. Bear with me, kids, because I'm not great at this. Hold on. Let me move me. You don't want to see that. Oh my God. Amy Key. Oh, hold on. Hold on. How's that? Okay. How's that? And you guys can't see it. Let me put this full. How do I get that up though? I'm new here. Oh, for fuck's sake. Hold on. How's this? I can't really make it. Actually, no, I might be able to. Hold on. Can you see that better? Okay. So this is United States of America plaintiff, we'll call him Dittmer. I think his name is Dietmar. He is the defendant. This is his sentencing that John was an expert for, that he is submitting this report to the judge for leniency for a 4 at least 4-time sexual child predator. Okay. What Nevada. So they're actually from Las Vegas area. So I just sound like Lauren. So oh my god, her accent. Listen, I have a wicked accent, all right? I mean, do I? Can you tell? But that is fucking atrocious. Atrocious. Comfortable. Okay. We're gonna call this guy Fred because that's his middle name. I'm not gonna keep saying the last name. The defendant, the pedophile, is Fred. Okay, the defendant. This is the state of Nevada versus Fred. Okay, Fred has committed sexual crimes against children on at least 4 occasions. He did not. So, this is the state's reply. Okay, hold on. Let me stop. This is the state's reply about John Matthias. So, he submitted reports and different, rating scales and stuff like that. And this is the state being like, bullshit. He is a fraud. So, this is the state's reply about the work that John did for Fred. Okay. So he was hired by the defense for Fred to do the evaluation to ask for leniency. Here we go. Committed actual crimes against children on at least 4 occasions. He did not stop his conduct after he was investigated for child porn in 2014. Instead, he was emboldened. He recreated his child porn collection and he sent it over the interwebs, over a BitTorrent network. Very dangerous dark web stuff. He did not stop his conduct after he was caught in 2016 for disseminating the child porn to an undercover detective. Instead, he escalated his criminal behavior when he forced his 11-year-old relative to touch him. He did not stop his conduct after he was indicted for crimes against children and granted pretrial release in 2018. Instead, he targeted a 13-year-old girl online. I need to get a new mouse, I think. He tormented her to create sexual CSAM. He did not stop his conduct after he was charged with a superseding indictment and detained. So he got more charges and was detained. To this day, Fred still attempts to commit sexual crimes against children, even while in custody. So, inmates can have tablets and stuff. I don't know how they're going to, how he was going to do that, right? But maybe there's attempts and the IT department has it flagged. So every time he tries to attempt one of those sites, it gets flagged in the sysadmin room or whatever control panel. All right. Fred requests for hold on, where did I go? Yep. So he's trying to go against Fred. Is request a 17-year sentence is based on the misconception that this conviction is his first criminal offense, that he learned this behavior from his parents. So he's blaming that he was abused by his parents and that this is his first crime. So he should only get a 17-year sentence because then you get good time and so on and so forth, right? And that he is a low risk for contact sexual offenses. Meanwhile, he already had a touch offense with his relative, right? So for John saying no, he's at low risk of that. Nobody already did it, right? It's like a shark in the water with blood. In reality, Fred is a repeat sex, against children, and he alone is responsible for his illegal conduct, and he is a high risk to reoffend. The court should reject Fred's invitation to apply a total of 396 months from the applicable guideline range. Instead, this court should impose the government recommended 27-year sentence, which is already a 276-month downward variance because it is appropriate and warranted and not greater than the necessary. So basically, they're like, give him the max, right? Give him everything. But John's like, no, he's a low risk to reoffend. Bullshit. He's a repeat offender. They don't stop. On July 20th of 2020, Fred provided a psychosexual evaluation authored by Dr. John Matthias to the government. Matthias summarized the family court documents in his view in the psychosexual evaluation. The government reviewed the report and considered it when negotiating the terms of the plea agreement. So they're looking for a plea agreement. On September 13th of 2021, Fred filed his sentencing memorandum. At that time, Fred provided the government with over 200 pages of family court documents. The records discussed a psychological evaluation of Fred as a child, but the evaluation was not provided. So a report was, but the actual evaluation was never turned over to the courts. So it was just like, trust me. On September 14th of 2021, the government filed a sentencing memorandum. Sentencing was scheduled for September 21st, 2021. The government filed a motion to continue sentencing, to review the family court records, and obtain and review everything. So they wanted to go over everything, including the psychosexual evaluation that John Matthias did. The court granted the motion to continue the sentencing and rescheduled it to November 15th. I'm going to kind of paraphrase because it's very wordy. On September 30th, the United States Marshal informed the parties that Fred received multiple photos that appeared to be a child exploitation images, as well as copies of multiple minor girl magazines while in custody in Nevada in the Southern Detention Center. The staff intercepted and confiscated the materials and subsequently provided them to the government. The government reviewed the material and observed approximately 200 age difficult photos. So 5 images of very young children and over 200 of questionable erotic photos. The girl, who appears to be 16, is completely nude on the couch. She's positioned suggestively, while another male who appears to be older and in full husband and wife mode. The girl appears to be in pain from facial expressions. That is scary shit. Okay. So this is just going over. I don't really want to read the whole thing to you. It's very graphic, but there was over 200 images that he got that were intercepted by the U.S. Marshals, and they were handed over to the government. Now, John Matthias is still saying he's at low risk, but he's literally in detention and still committing crimes. Okay. So this kind of goes over that. Okay. This is all. Yeah, these just go over what the pictures entailed. I do not want to go over that. It's really graphic. These are the magazines that he was sent. Who the fuck is sending him magazines? Is it his parents? Inquiring minds want to know. Like, that girl looks like she's 9. Yeah, some of them between 6 and 12-year-old girls. Okay. On October 6th, Fred provided the underlying test score sheets and materials utilized during the psychosexual evaluation with Matthias. Fred relies heavily upon the family court records and psychosexual evaluation in requesting a sentence of 17 years. However, the family court records do not provide a basis for additional 120-month downward variance. So nothing in the records said that they should drop his sentence by 120 months. The psychosexual evaluation does not contain significant anything of it, so it's not reliable to support its probable accuracy and should be discredited by the court. Moreover, Fred's recent conduct of ordering age difficult, all the stuff, books for his pedophilia desires demonstrates that the only way to protect society from him is through a significant period of incarceration. Throw him away, throw away the key, just lock him up. Family court records do not support additional 120 months. So there's no evidence saying that he's not dangerous. Fred directed the court to the family court records to argue that Fred was exposed to physical, emotional, and sexual abuse. that he committed the charged offenses due to immoral conduct he learned by his parents. So you're blaming it on his parents that he's all fucked up. You still hurt people. You take accountability for yourself. You're a grown ass man. Yet the records do not indicate anywhere that Fred was physically, emotionally, or sexually abused by anybody. Instead, the only allegation that was sustained by the family court record was lack of necessities from his parents. At most, the family court records demonstrate that Fred's mother was mentally unstable and unwilling to provide Fred with the appropriate home environment. That's sad. At approximately 10 years old, Fred was placed in the custody of his father. Fred's behavior dramatically improved, and the records demonstrate that he did very well with his father. He was in a stable and caring environment. What was clearly lacking in the records is any evidence that Fred learned to sexually abuse children from either parent. Indeed, the only documentation as to immoral behavior learned by Fred was never from either of his parents. It was a lie. As records indicate, he was coached by his mother to make negative remarks and allegations against his father. So it was like that family court drama nonsense. So the mother coached him. And it appears that Fred continues to apply that particular lesson in this case, as he blames his parents, and particularly his father, and for the crimes of which he is to be sentenced. Although the court is well aware Fred committed his own offense of possession of CSAM in 2014, Fred explicitly confirms he first learned from his father that CSAM conduct, and during the execution of the 2014 search warrant, Fred also claimed that his first encounter with child porn on the internet occurred when he searched for it when he was 18 years old. I'm going to stop here for a minute. We need to take a breather. What are you guys saying? Yeah, we're getting to the John stuff. Yeah, the tablets definitely do not have access like that. I mean, but the thing is that in those environments, if you go to search something, it pings on a server and it can collect that data, whether you were able to access the website or not. It does collect. It's called touch data, right? So when if I connected to your Wi-Fi, go back to the Karen Reed thing. If I connected to your Wi-Fi once, every time I go back to your house, my phone talks to your router and says, "Hey, I'm here," and then it sends its signal and attaches to your Wi-Fi. So this Wi-Fi this tablet has Google, and every time he puts in something spicy into the Google thing, it will record what the search was, but it does not allow you to tunnel into that website. So that's probably how he got caught, because he was a fucking idiot. Is Jay from Hull here? Stop it. Do we have a celebrity in the house? Is that what I hear? Hi, little brother. Hi. Is that Jay from Hull? Oh, Zach. My heart. Oh, hi, Bugga. It's good to see you, honey. It's been like forever and a million years. It's good to see you. Oh my goodness. All the people are coming out, specifically proving that they'll never stop. Yeah, on top. Never. Never. There's no pill for this. It's degeneracy at its finest. I don't even think it helps. Yeah. No way. No, that's Zach. That's Zach. I think he calls me Hubbugger. That's my only Hubbugger on the internet. All right, we are gonna continue this, and I don't even know which one I'm gonna use. This one? I'm gonna use this one. All right, guys. I'm not reading chat, so if you guys need me, call me. All right, let's get down to like where they start talking shit about Matthias, because I don't want to go to the dirty details of like little girls getting abused. It makes my stomach hurt. Okay. There's an allegation that Fred was a victim of this when he was 3 years old. It was not true. The victimization did not. Oh, wait. Okay. So I guess he was a victim at 3 years old. That is true. I don't know how they said he was and now he is, but the victimization did not cause Fred to engage in serial sexual exploitive conduct of children. If being that abused makes one more likely to offend in this manner, why don't girls? Good point. Who makes up this like percentage? So like, if this happens to boys, they're more apt to do it, but because little girls, that happens a lot, they don't turn around and do it. But there is an increased influx of women going to jail for being sexually inappropriate with students and their children's friends and um the court's own experience likely is and so they're saying, can you please instruct this guy is gonna continue to repeat. He's saying, how many female pedophiles has the court sentenced as compared to males? Males are the even though women do it, it is mostly a male sport. Yeah, female teachers. Yeah. um What's his age? It does not say his age. Oh, you know what? He's 20. I think he was 25. And it started, he's had like his first victim came forward when he was 18. Yeah, female teachers. Yeah. It's like those girls that never got attention. And all of a sudden, these high school boys that they can never get in high school start paying him attention. It's like fucking, it's psycho. It's gross. It makes me scared for my own, you know? You send your kids off to wolves. Let's see. I'm gonna skip through. Hold on. All right, right here. Okay. Okay, hold on. That's like the first time they mention him. Okay. Fred relies upon his mother's unsubstantiated claim of his abuse to argue for a lower custodial sentence. So he's saying, I was abused. You should give me less time. Fred hired Matthias. Dr. John Matthias also heavily relies upon the unsubstantiated history of the abuse to Fred to find Fred at low risk for a contact sexual offense. Okay. Dr. John Matthias was hired by the defense, and he's saying that this man should get a smaller sentence because he's at low risk to do a contact offense. You fucking shitting me. You wonder why I'm so mad. Studies have shown that excuse making may be more prevalent in settings where such behavior may be useful, such as in the early stages of therapy before learning that excuse making is not acceptable, or during the trial process, perhaps under guidance of an enthusiastic defense expert. Ha! Shots fired. So basically, they're saying he's making all of these excuses to obtain the low risk evaluation. He attempts to exploit the unsubstantiated abuse allegations from himself to gain sympathy from the court. But even if the court wishes that Fred's childhood was different, right? Because however he was treated was sad, and he did not deserve that from his mother. It simply does not explain his conduct. Nope, that's a degeneracy, let alone justify it. And if it's not a sound and reasoned basis to grant a substantial variance, a substantial drop down in his sentence that he seeks, he deserves all the time because he's a predator. Additionally, even if Fred's reports of physical and emotional abuse in his childhood are accepted as true, because the same is true of so many others defendants who commit the same or similar offenses, this is simply not a ground for further variance. So, just because he was abused, he do better. Fred has offered nothing that would set this case apart as an atypical enough to warrant anything less than the max. As noted above, Fred cannot show a casual connection between the abuse and the commission of the offense. So he can't connect what happened in his childhood to what he does. While Fred summarizes facts about his upbringing, nowhere in those circumstances casually connected to his offenses, even though he could show. Okay, so they're basically saying like he's just full of shit. Where is Matthias? Where's Matthias? The question unaddressed by the defendant would remain whether they require a shorter sentence or a longer sentence than would be appropriate for a defendant who lacks those characteristics because he is moderate to high. The more difficult it is for a person to resist desire to harm children, the more likely he is to reoffend. And this is the argument for a longer prison sentence and the grounds of deterrent as well when you are put in jail. So you don't want to continue to be in jail. You're there for a long time and you get out. Maybe it's a deterrent from you to do it again. For a stronger impulse to commit a criminal act, he needs to get the full punishment, is what the state is saying. And he's saying that everything that he has submitted is fucking bullshit. Okay, here we go. Here we go, kids. Here we go. This is where Matthias's psychosexual report is non-reliable and cannot support a further decrease in the sentence. The government asked the court give no weight to Matthias' opinion as to Fred's recidivism risk, as it lacks sufficient or reliability to support its probable accuracy. The psychosexual test used by Matthias lacks significant reliability to measure for recidivism in this case. The government asked that the court give no weight to the predictions of recidivism included in Fred's psychosexual evaluation because those predictions rely on a concerningly incomplete definition of reoffense. Matthias utilized a static 99R, the Vermont Assessment of Sex Offenders Risk 2, the Vassar 2, the Sex Offender Treatment and Intervention Progress Scale, and the Violence Risk Appraisal Guide to evaluate Fred's risk of reoffending. First, researchers found that applying the VRAGE to sexual offenders do not accurately predict sexual offenders' recidivism? And therefore, the sexual offender risk was developing. Matthias does not utilize the correct tests. The state is saying he did not use what he was supposed to actually thoroughly evaluate him for whether he's going to reoffend. Secondly, the tests purport to offer conclusions about only rearrest rates, not reoffense rates for the offenders. The tests define the test define I can't even say it. Reoffense as the likelihood of a future arrest and conviction for a hands-on sex offense. This is the thing. They're saying that this guy is not going to reoffend. Okay. They're saying he's not going to reoffend. He's not going to reoffend. He's fine. He has already touched a child, a family member, a 7-year-old family member. He had her touch him physically. He's already touched a child. There's no going back from that, in my opinion. I've never known or heard of someone just doing it once. Okay. And if it's a family member, are they protected when he gets out? Oh, hey, Jay Warren. It's good to see you, baby. Thanks for being here. Question. Blue collar man be question for you. Should a blue collar man be considered a sex offender if he picks up a female hooker on the way home from work on a Friday night after having a few beers with his fellow workers? Is the girl of age? Is a girl of age? There's different, listen, a hooker, a girl saying that if she's 17 and she's saying she's 20, I don't know. That's a whole different ballpark. We're talking about a man who is touching children. A 7-year-old had a 7-year-old family member sexually pleasure him. That's a fucking predator. That's not a guy trying to get his rocks off on his way home after a few beers. It's just not. The one doesn't say, well, one's not the other. We're talking about this case. He literally could not control himself while incarcerated. Do you think he can control himself on the outside? That's an honest question. If he cannot control his urges inside the jail, incarcerated, do you think he can control his urges on the outside with no supervision? That's like giving a dope head, like a heroin, a bag and being like, "Hey, hold on to this." Right? No control. No self-control. Um, oh, hey, I think it's almost 100%. Yeah. 100. Yes, absolutely. Never. Hey, ATS. Mark, I see Jay out. Oh, I love when Zach's here too. I just needed a break from reading because I was starting to fuck up. Zach, always starting trouble. All right, there's 45 of you guys could like this video, get it out. So essentially, let's just talk about it a little more. So this guy is asking to be considered a low risk, and that not for nothing too. That affects what level sex offender that he has to register as, right? He's at least four occasions he's been caught and couldn't control himself, incarcerated. And John Matthias, Captain Savaho, is like, no, no, sir. No, no, he'll be fine. Low risk. Give me my $20,000 so I can get my wife Botox, so I can go read some books. You're gonna pay for my educated opinion. No, you're a fucking idiot. You're dangerous. This is dangerous. Tell that to the 7-year-old family member that he completely scarred for the rest of her life. Go tell her what you did. Fucking piece of shit. So John advocated for the short. Yeah, yeah. And then the state comes back and he's like, this guy's bullshit. You should discredit him. He wanted him to have 17 years instead of like the 27 or 30 years that they were looking for. Because they wanted him to be, John was advocating for him to be low risk for touch offenses. So it's like, yeah, he'll probably go look at it, but he's not gonna touch anybody. He already touched people. He already touched a family member, and he can't control himself in a jail cell with a fucking tablet. And John's like, no, nothing to see here. This is why he's simping for Brian Kohlberg. I think he sees himself in these people, right? But it's not a different ballpark if it's labeled the same. I mean, this is the thing. You don't have sex with children under 18 in the United States. Nobody should be going out and having sex with children. So I don't even know what this question is exactly. Like I'm not coming at you, but like your guy going out one night and a girl lying about her age and he sleeps with her, and it's like I don't have an answer for that. It is called the same thing because anyone under the age of 18 is considered a child. Look at that girl Celeste Rivas that was willingly went with 18-year-old boy at 13. She was in love and thought that was her boyfriend. Is that okay? It's still predatory behavior. If you're having a few beers and going to get a young hooker and after work, maybe you should seek therapy. Maybe you should see what's going on with you, right? Do you think the young girl hooking wants to be there? Guarantee she doesn't. If you look further into it, she's probably abused. She probably doesn't have family. She's probably this is the way she has to earn money. Like, look at the big picture here. It's all wrong. But this case right here, John is advocating for a child predator who cannot control himself to get off on a lighter sentence. Literally wrote and made up rating scales where the government was like, this guy is a wackadoodle. He didn't even do it right. And he claims that he has all of these experts and he's always in jails. There are two times he was an expert, and this is one of them. And the other one was in a juvenile court. Look at the big picture here. They're sickos. They're sickos and people to be preyed on. And young kids, a 7-year-old family member does not have a choice. The grown male did, though, and he knew what he was doing. And I would never advocate for a man who definitely touched a little girl and ruined her life. She's scarred. And he's a parent. And it tracks of why he's not getting his son help. and lets his wife just while out. He's worried about Chad Daybell coming to Thanksgiving dinner. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding? Like, come on. Come on. I'm not trying to come at you, but like there's like a fine line between like it's all bad. It's all labeled the same thing and it's all bad. All bad. No one should be having sex with anyone under the age of 18. And if you're willingly actively doing it, you're a predator. Even if you're having a few beers and going to get a hooker after work, you should seek inside and seek therapy. If you think you are sleeping with children after a few beers on a Friday night, sounds like a personal problem. I have heard that Koberger saw the knife as an extension of his penis. Yeah, incel. Incel. Yeah, absolutely. Look, I mean, a knife wound is very personal. The reason could be possibly to have a cover on someone like this. Yeah. I mean, it's gross. You cannot fault the child for lying because their brains aren't fully developed and aren't responsible for their choices. Adults need to be 1000% sure of age with people that they date so it's easy to find. Amen. Yes. Amba, my girl. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. I see something very, very wrong with that. And he can live. How can, right? How does John sleep at night knowing that the guy that he tried to get off on a lighter sentence is probably out ruining another little girl's life? How do you sleep at night, John? Captain Sabaho? Captain, I'm for victims? No. No, no, no. You were from the Predator. And that tracks of why you simp all of these incels, Brian Koberger, all of them. Do you see the way he like looks? It's almost like he's like talking about himself. Remember, he was like, he's so smart and he knows he's exceptional. Yo, your grandiosity is delusional. Just like when he was like, I was going to say the most pathetic thing and Lori Hellis cut me off. Good, you little bitch. Good. Spit it out. It was probably awkward. It was probably awkward silence. You sitting there trying to build up the moment, you weirdo. Weirdo. You're all weirdos. I know I heard that. Oh, sorry, wait, I already read that. On days like this, I miss Vans and Mamma Mia's. Oh my god. Oh, Mama, the meatball subs. Smata. 02136, my hypox sister. I miss Mom Maria. I went to MPB. I used to go over there for meatball subs on half days. Stop it. It's called grooming. Thank you, Jay. It's called grooming. And they know what they're doing. Just like, you know what? John picked his wife. She's a groomer too, just in a different way. Predator. Preying on vulnerable people. Vulnerable people. John just needs some alone time with some in and out. Yeah, he needs to read the Bible verses on the bottom of the fries, Bruce. Go get a Coke and a fucking scripture. Their religion, Mormonism is full. Yeah. A lot of organized religions are. It's sick. It is absolutely sick. But you're labeled, but the name is labeled, you receive is the same. That's my point. But I'm trying to make, yeah, no, I understand, but it's all bad. And I'm not coming at you. I'm just saying, because there are people that think this way. It's like, oh, well, if I bang a 16-year-old and I didn't know she was 16, I'm 21. Like, why are you at places where there be even 16-year-olds anyway? It's still, listen, it's still damaging. What does a 21-year-old guy want a 16-year-old girl? Think about that. Still predatory behavior. Still predatory. John Matthias is a friggin', yes, Jay Warren, right here, honey. Him and Lauren Soak. Spirit. Nanya, I think that, yeah. Sorry, I haven't looked at the chat in like forever. I just want to like, I don't know what's wrong with my mouse. I need to get a new one. Sounds like Diddy trying to arrange a freak off. Wayne, that is hilarious. Yeah. Yeah. Sleep at night. You know what too? Your son. I mean, does he like boys too? Like how can you be a father and advocate for that? Like, how do you sleep at night? You know what I'm saying? Like how do you reconcile that? What that tells me, in my opinion, is that they both can be bought. Lauren doesn't give a fuck who she hurts to get money and praise and clout and grandiosity and look how important I am. John wants to be important. That man thinks that he is brilliant and that he should be a lot further along in life than he is. Sounds like a fucking personal problem and a personality problem. You're unlikable, right? You're unlikable. Yeah, that's her sister wife. Can you increase the speed of the mouse moves? Oh, yeah, thanks. I don't know. I think I got a new mouse pad, Nanya. I don't know what is happening. Psychopaths probably see pretty well. Yeah. But I never really looked at John as a psychopath. I looked at him as a fucking idiot. But these people, anyone can be bought, and that's what's sad. Can anybody be bought? Everybody has a price, right? Child abuse, there's like a fucking hard stop, right? Hard stop. Men have been picking up hookers since the beginning of time. Yeah, it's the first profession. It's the oldest trade. If you keep bringing up children, I'm talking about two adults should not be labeled. Oh yeah, but 16. What do you mean though? Because you said picking up a hooker. Did you mean a young girl? Because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about child predators. If you're picking up a hooker, I mean, I listen. If you want to be a hooker, if you want to go get money, go get your money. That's not something that I can do. I can't. That's not something personally I'd be able to do. If that's something that you can sleep with at night and make money, and it's two consenting adults, have at it. I think it should be legal. I think that women should be able to go get tested, and there should be safe places, and you're not on a back alley meeting Rex Humerman, right? I think that adults are fine. But if you're going and you're picking up like the youngest girl that you see, and it's questionable whether she's 18, could be a personal problem, right? Don't pick up children. Make sure it's an adult. I don't give a shit what people do as an adult. I don't kink shame. You know, I don't kink shame. If that's what men, women, anyone want to do, go and do it. But adults, don't prey on children. I'm oblivious to reality. Okay. John, is that you? Hi, John. Hi, John. Are you a gem? Hi. Come on over. I think you're in the wrong place. I still can't even for adults working sex is what it is. Often they're on drugs and there's a reason why they're choosing prostitution. But yeah, if they're adults, you can't do anything, right? I'm talking about predatory behavior where like you're out seeking out any people under 18, or there's people trafficking younger children, right? And people buying, which is fine. Adults are fine. Did nothing over the age of 18. I don't kink shame. Go do your thing. I recommended buying a better mouse because it to make a whole. Yeah, I know. Look at this thing. I actually, you know what? Oh my god, it's plugged in. Thanks, Nanya. In mass, the age of consent is 16, which may be confusing. Yeah. Well, you can't be over 21. So you can be 16 and 20, but you can't be 16 and 22. So is that. I mean, my focus of being irate with degenerates and like people who simp for men who are questionable with children. I have to side eye, right? David, who D4VD, who was 18 and had a 13-year-old girl convinced that she was his girlfriend, and she ended up in the trunk of his Tesla. Mother didn't give a flying fuck where she was. She ended up dead, decomposing. No one cared about this girl. They're easy targets. It's not even so like everyone should be over the age of 18. Okay. 16, if you're 16, 20, whatever the age range, I do not go after young men. I don't need to worry about that. But if you are questioning whether someone's underage, you should take a look, and probably not, right? If you're buying hookers, you know. I'm talking about children. This man that John is defending for a lighter sentence. The girl was 7 years old. 7. Who physically touched him. The other ones weren't much older. The material that he got, they were not questionably 18. So you're coming in the chat to be like, oh, well, it could have been. No, she was 7. She was 7. 7. Can you mistake a 7-year-old for an 18-year-old? Just wondering. The most flashes. Yeah. Chat opinions are fine. Please. Yeah. I mean, I'm willing to have a conversation. I'm not willing for you to be gross and defend fucking pedophiles. That you are in the wrong place. I will light you up. I will light you up. You probably are better off if you want to simp for predators, child predators. Go over to Hidden True Crime. They seem to love that. They're all for it. They have a $sign. Just send them a super chat. Okay, let's keep going. I want to like make this bigger. I don't even know. Can you guys see it? I don't have like a, wait, do I? Oh, I do, kids. I do. Oh my God, is it bigger? Can you guys see it better? Oh, kids. Is that better? Oh, it's better. Okay. All right. Let's keep going. Okay, so basically the state's being like, Matthias is a wackadoodle. He did it all wrong. He didn't even do this, that, and the other thing. He didn't do the right tests. You're real smart. I'm so smart. He's brilliant. He's brilliant. Okay. This observation regarding the test 99 is applicable to its revised version, as well as the Vassar 2 and the SOTIPs. To be sure, any person who has not been convicted for hands-on sexual offenses will always score as low risk for reoffending. These tests are thus inherently unreliable as recidivism measurements because they are validated on an absurd definition of reoffending. Offenses are the most underreported crimes in society, even more so with children victims. With few expectations, child pornography offenses are committed in secret and are difficult to detect until the offender begins to distribute the material, as the case here. So he was taking his own material and sending it to other fucking shomos. These psychosexual tests account for none of this because they were designed to measure something else entirely. Not the deviance of the motherfucker. That's not what we're doing. Protecting the public cannot be so hitched to the assessment of whether someone will commit a crime that is also detected, leading to a prosecution, also results in a conviction. In that way, recidivism is a misleading, incomplete term when used in a psychosexual test, and in many ways represent the court's concern for protecting the public. Further, although all of these tests to which Fred was subjected purported to measure his likelihood to commit or be convicted of a hands-on sex crime, which he already did to a 7-year-old family member, fucking freak. But the court's goal in assessing recidivism is to determine if Fred will commit any sex offenses, including child porn offenses. The test definition of recidivism is thus doubtly incomplete in assisting the court's sentencing decision. So they're like, this doesn't mean anything. What they're saying this is for is not what it's for. And they're saying, well, no, he didn't touch. He touched, okay? He already had a touch victim. Already. He's a moderate to high. And John's like, nope, he should get out. He's brilliant. Under the justified scrutiny by sentencing courts, which are charged with conducting individualized assessment of defendants, these psychosexual tests also place undue emphasis on age and claim a correlation between advanced age and lower recidivism, which is not true. How many chomos you see on those websites with the Q-tips? the Q-tips, and the still offending over and over and over. But there are no basis to account for an advanced age in sex offenders when assessing future risk offending. The lack of scientific correlation is a logical matter. The older the person is when released from custody, the less likely they will be charged or convicted of a new crime simply by virtue of fewer years remaining in life. So they're trying to make you dead. They're trying to get you as close to the casket as possible. Throw away the key. Let's see here. In favor of longer custodial sentences because the longer a defendant is in prison, the older he will be when he gets out, and the less time he has remaining in years of his life to commit these crimes or be charged or convicted with any new crime. Contrary to what these pseudo scientific tests claim, the logic underlying the tests themselves suggests that the best way to protect the community is incarcerating the defendant for an extended period of time until he is so old that he is highly unlikely to commit a new crime, let alone getting convicted for it, using the absurd definition of recidivism advocated by every psychosexual test. So basically, their argument is like, oh well, he's at a low risk. Hi, Candy Apple, it's good to see you. Um, they're like, oh well, he did this once. But my book says that if he gets out, he's gonna be just fine. He's gonna be just fine. That's what my book says. Get the fuck out of here. Put him away. He's already proved he has no self control. He's already touched a family member. What's your motive, John? Is it money or incompetence? Because it's looking like both. One or the other. I don't know. Both's bad. Not looking good for you, Mister. I'm the doctor of the internet. I'm the smartest one in the room. Holy shit. Can see fine. Perfect. All right. This is almost over, kids. This is almost over. Hold on. All right. Oh shit. I thought I just closed it. Where did I go? All these footnotes. Okay, right here. Matthias incorrectly scored all of Fred's psychosexual test. Even taking the test Matthias administered to Fred at face value shows that a 27-year sentence is warranted because once the scores are accurately recorded, he demonstrates to be a higher risk for recidivism than he claims under his own deeply flawed tools. On the 99R test sheet, Matthias failed to increase Fred's score to account for prior offenses. He also failed to increase Fred's score for stranger victims. He has stranger victims. Having CSAM, you are re-victimizing little girls and little boys. You are part of the fucking problem that is stranger victims, and maybe he's a peeper. Maybe he's an exposer. What do we know? Notably, Matthias placed a question mark next to the stranger victims factor, which would have increased Fred's risk category to moderate high. Had Matthias correctly scored Fred's 99R, he would have scored in the moderate to high risk category, which would have gotten him the full sentence. But nope, give him all that time less. On the Vassar 2, Matthias did not increase Fred's score for violating release conditions during the past 5 years. Fred also had multiple child victims, and Matthias documented it in his report. But despite his acknowledgement, Matthias failed to increase Fred's score by the minimum of 2 points. Lastly, so he didn't give him the extra 2 points on said test because it would have put him in like the higher category. So let's just help him out and keep him out so we can go hurt more children. Fucking loser. Matthias failed to increase Fred's score for serious life disruptions based on Fred's substance abuse during the past 5 years in the community. Matthias contemplated scoring Fred as a 2 versus a 1 for a particular question in pretrial. I don't even know what that question is. Oh, yeah. The government details the incorrect scoring of the 99R, Vassar, and I don't know, tips. Fred's score on all of them is also flawed, but as discussed above, this test is not an appropriate tool to be used in evaluating a sex offender. So the government has not detailed the specific scoring errors in the filing. So every single test that he did was incorrect or misscored. Every single one, not one was correct. And even though he had the knowledge of prior victims, he did not put them into account. Did not he just like the predator, he's not thinking of the victims. This guy has multiple victims, and just because he's just looking at porn at CSAM, those are real children. Those are somebody's children getting abused. You are part of the problem. You are an abuser. You are egging it on. You are paying for it. You are swapping it. You are the fucking problem. I don't care if he's not touching children, which he is. He's touching family members. I don't care. He's still abusing. And you're disgusting for defending this. Oh, yeah. Nanya. Of course, all experts get paid. They all get paid. The dollar. He couldn't find any more children to put in those disgusting ranches in Utah. You know that's what he did. In Dr. Phil back in the day when all those bad kids. I was a bad kid. I was a bad kid, and I was afraid my mom's going to do this to me. I'm going to lie. Remember the Dr. Phil ranches, and they come and scoop you up in the middle of the night and bring you out to the woods. Paris Hilton went there, and she tells stories about horrific abuse there. Do you know who sent kids there? From St. George, Utah, John Matthias. You know who else did? Jody Hildebrandt. And Lauren on the Mormon Stories podcast mentioned that John used to go to trainings with Jody Hildebrandt. Not that they work together, and in that field, you often go to trainings together. I have questions though. I have questions. So you're training with her. You're in a very small. I mean, I'm not saying St. George is small, but I'm sure that if Jody Hildebrandt was taking up all the patients at that time in that area, what were you doing? You were sending kids to ranches. You are no better. You enabled abuse in so many different ways, and you're going to sit on a pedestal and try to act like you are smarter than me and smarter than my chat and talk down to people and act like you're the smartest person in the room. You are an incompetent piece of shit in my eyes. And you should never work with children again. Because I want you to look at the little girl who got abused, who has trauma from that and will never forget it. I want you to look at her in the face and tell her that you advocated for her abuse to get out of jail. Do that. There's not worth any money. No money is worth what you did. And you couldn't even do it right. It was wrong. Everything was wrong. It was so obviously wrong that the prosecutor's like, who is this crack-a-box fucking doctor? Matthias. Scoring, not adding. What is happening? Are you fucking blind? Are you deaf? What's happening? Do you need something? Do you hearing devices? This man is telling you that he has reoffended before and you didn't score him to give him a lower score. You're part of the problem. You know, like Epstein used to have like people to help him, shuffling girls. And I want this one and this one's that one. You're them. You're them with a fucking license. You're a fucking piece of shit. And you should stay away from all victims. Stay away from people. All right. It's almost over, guys. I'm sorry you have to listen to me read. I usually have everything dark because my dyslexia, it like pops the words out, but I cannot get this one dark. So bear with me. Okay. Fred discussed his drug use. Based on Fred's self-report, a score of 2 should have been applied. Matthias' assessment of Fred severity factor checklist within the Vassar 2 is also incorrect. Fred committed a hands-on contact offense by forcing a 7-year-old relative to touch his in 2016, which was not identified by Matthias. He conveniently left that out. He didn't put that in his scoring. He just left that little girl out. You just told that little girl that she didn't fucking matter, you pig. Piece of shit. Ultimately, if the Vassar 2 had been correctly scored, Fred would have scored in the moderate high risk category as this assessment for all the assessments. Matthias' scoring of Fred's test on the tips, I don't know what that means, but all are also questionable. Provided a 16-item list for an evaluator to assess the defendant's relative treatment and supervision needs. Matthias scored Fred as a minimal to no need for improvement score in at least 4 of the categories: sexual offense responsibility, sexual attitude, criminal and rule-breaking attitude, and stage of change. Fred clearly needs at least some improvement, or arguably considerably needs improvement in each of these categories based on his conduct. But Matthias also scored Fred as some need for improvement, but should also have an increased score to at least considerably needs improvement. In categories of sexual interest, sexual risk, where am I? Sexual interest and criminal and rule-breaking behavior, Matthias scored Fred based on his self-report, but Fred's conduct between 2014 and 2021, including his persistent attempts to access child erotica while incarcerated, demonstrates that Fred has no motherfucking self-control. It doesn't say that, kids. It doesn't say that. Hold on. Demonstrates that Fred is in considerable need for improvement. In these identified areas, even by minimally increasing Fred's score by 3 points, which is warranted based on Fred's conduct, his category result is moderate, which used in conjunction with the statistic with the 99R as recommended scoring guide, Fred's risk category would have been identified as moderate to high. Matthias's psychosexual evaluation opinions are based on inaccurate and incomplete information. In addition to the problematic and incomplete tools discussed, Matthias' psychosexual evaluation is also based on Fred's self-report history, because we know that's reliable. But the self-report history lacks vital details of Fred's conduct, including Fred's hands-on victimization of a 7-year-old relative. And Matthias either misunderstood or manipulated the discovery and Fred's statements to arrive at the opinions and conclusion detailed in his evaluation. Let me read that again. Matthias either misunderstood or manipulated discovery and Fred's statements to arrive at the opinions and concluded detailed in his evaluation. A little bit more, kids. First, Fred's self-reporting was not verified through the use of a polygraph. As noted per Judge Posner, the best predictor of recidivism is not deportment at the interview, but sexual interest in children. Fred has a high sexual interest in children, as it is evidenced by his multiple crimes against children occurring over a span of at least 10 years or 7 years. Fred continues to demonstrate to the court that his interest in children is still prevalent today, as evidenced by the mail that Fred received, the magazines. He was bold enough to get them sent to him. Age difficult, so he was getting very young girl stuff. We know that. Matthias also used the paraphilia scale survey to assess Fred's pedophilic interest and claim that research has consistently shown a correlation between paraphilia and sexual recidivism. This survey should be disregarded as Fred's self-report answers are unreliable and do not align with his actual conduct. For example, Fred claimed in the survey that he was very repulsed by the phrases "have sex with a girl age 12 to 14" and "have sex with a girl below the age of 12." However, Fred's conduct directly contradicts this self-reported answer. Fred's conduct of possessing CSAM in 2014, sending the child pornography in 2016, committing a hands-on act against a 7-year-old relative, and tormenting a 13-year-old girl in 2019 into providing explicit photos. So you know how we were talking about the the gangs online that blackmail you and harass to the point of unaliving. This is what this man did to a 13-year-old girl, demanding that she perform acts on him. Notably, Fred reported that he exposed his genitalia to a stranger who was not expecting it. Remember, I said I knew he was going to be a fucking peeper once a year or more on average. So he would expose himself to people often, like more than once a year, but it was continuously over years. So it was multiple victims exposing themselves out of nowhere. Okay, there are others people drive around in a car. The other sexual interest inventory Matthias used was a screening scale for pedophilic interest, the revised. Matthias' scoring on this inventory was incorrect as Matthias did not account for the 7-year-old relative victim. The additional unidentified victims from Fred's Snapchat account and the additional victims of Fred's CSAM collection, if correctly answered, Fred's score would double, resulting in a score of 4 out of 5 items being present rather than only 2. According to Matthias, score of 2, Fred had some potentially moderate pedophilic sexual interest, but nothing crazy. However, Fred's true score, which is double that of Matthias' score, demonstrates that Fred has more serious pedophilic interest than Matthias documented. Dangerous. This man is dangerous. Moreover, Matthias failed to utilize the single biggest predictor of sexual offense recidivism, the PPG. The PPG assessment involves a direct monitoring of sexual responses when viewing. Hold on one second. When viewing or listening to sexual stimuli. That Matthias failed to administer this test and relied solely on Fred's uncorroborated self-report. Self-report's bullshit. Is suspect. The state called John suspect. Let me read that again. Matthias failed to administer this test and relied solely on Fred's uncorroborated and frankly contradicted self-report is suspect. Matthias's evaluation is also based on an incorrect or manipulation of the history. It's incorrect or manipulation of the history and characteristics of Fred. For example, Matthias incorrectly stated that Fred disclosed sexual abuse as a toddler. Matthias also concluded that Fred compulsive porn usage can be explained by his sexual abuse as a toddler and through his probable exposure to his father's CSAM around the age of 10 or 11. However, these opinions and conclusions directly contradict the evidence and information available to Matthias, including Fred's own words. Statements. We have one little bit more. You guys still with me? Do I need to stop? Oh, you guys are all still here. Hi, Wispy. It's good to see you. Thanks for subbing. Welcome over. I love having new people. You'll like it here. I've read through the court papers. This man should be he and John is simping for him to get out, like actively manipulating the court to get this man out. Why? What are you in for it? Lauren Shore did herself and her husband a doozy with a 9-hour live. Wispy, amen. You know what though? None of us would have ever known this. And the most. Oh, hey, there you are. Hi, baby. Let's fucking go. What's wild to me, right? What's wild to me is I see this a lot, actually. Like, you can put information in front of people's faces and be like, this is who your leader is, right? They get put up on this pedestal. I think it was Wayne. I forget one of the people in chat. I apologize for not remembering. Said that they're like the number one. Was it Wayne? Wayne, was it you? They're like number one to go. Like YouTube is number one source to go for news and stuff. And then you have these fuckers who are just bad people. Oh, hey, hippie chick. Hi, honey. It's good to see you. You can put all the evidence in front of these people and they're like, they're our leader, they're amazing, they're so great. Nothing you can unveil, unravel about these people will ever change their opinions. And isn't that scary? Like, do they think for themselves? Does anybody critically think? I know my chat does. We all critically think. Yeah, and then yeah, exactly. Exactly. Hi, Wayne. Sorry, I'm a bad reader too. Oh my god, hippie chick, did I put you to sleep too, mama? Oh my god. Nanya, I'm so happy you're here. Okay, let's finish this document and then we'll talk and let's go. All right. Where are we? Father was never blah, 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 blah. Okay, life information. Matthias's opinion that Fred should be considered a victim of the past sexual abuse, making him more to a therapy. Okay, so he's saying because he was abused as a child that he's not gonna reoffend, that he would actually take to a therapeutic real rehabilitation center rather than incarceration. So he wants him to go to like cushy Bridgewater Hospital and get the sex offender treatment, and then them to be like, I'm healed, and then go out and like take children, right? So he's a piece of shit. Rehabilitation rather than incarceration must be rejected. Okay, so the state's saying like, no, that needs to be rejected. There's serious doubt to the legitimacy of the report as a whole. Matthias was also aware that Fred was first exposed to child CSAM at 15 by his friends from videos they created with their girlfriends. Oh, that's weird. I didn't read that before. That's I mean, if you're, would that be CSAM when you're both 15 and you're looking at it? Although you can be tried as a 15-year-old with 15-year-old stuff. Anyway, 15-year-old boy is friends, girlfriends, not Fred's father at 10. Matthias also documented that Fred denied that he had any access to his child's CSAM and that Fred had learned about his father's usage of CSAM after the initial federal search warrant for Fred in 2014. Fred's compulsive CSAM usage cannot be blamed on the conduct that did not occur. Matthias conclusions contradict his own summary of evidence throughout his evaluation. Thus, Matthias's opinions and conclusions cannot be trusted. Matthias's conclusion that Fred resorted to primitive defense mechanism of splitting, like BPD, borderline personality disorder. He's saying that his usage of the CSAM is borderline personality splitting. Is also unreliable because based on incorrect, manipulated, and incomplete information as discussed above. Moreover, splitting is a process identified in early childhood that is highly associated with people diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. Matthias did not diagnose Fred with borderline personality disorder, and Fred has not presented any records that he has such diagnosis. This court cannot rely on Matthias's claims that Fred utilized such a defense mechanism when he has not even been diagnosed with that primary disorder in which it was found. Even if Fred was suffering from splitting, Fred claimed that he committed the crimes in 2019 to shield and protect his father based on splitting is illogical. So he's saying that he committed crimes to protect his father, but in actuality he was splitting because he has a mental disorder. He's trying to go to Bridgewater, kids. If Fred wanted to protect his father and shield him from conviction, the logical action would be for Fred to claim that all of the CSAM was his, right? Okay. I wanted to practice pornography recovered. Okay, so his father is a diddler too. Fred, additional crimes do not take blame away from his father's historical behavior, and Fred continues to reoffend while in custody, even after his father pled guilty and was sentenced. He still needed to protect him. Thus, further proves Fred's acts are those of his own pedophilic desires, not of his desire to protect his father. This course should reject any notion that Fred's conduct is a result of splitting. Matthias's summary of information, test scores, and opinions contradicted the evidence in the case. Matthias does not have a full scope of the information and either manipulated or misunderstood vital information to provide his low-risk opinion. In either event, the court cannot rely upon the opinions of the evaluation of Matthias as they are based on flawed information and test scored. The government asks that the court disregard the Matthias report and its resulting conclusions, and any testimony provided by Matthias should he appear at sentencing as lacking sufficient or reliability to support its probable accuracy. So essentially, okay, guys, essentially they're saying he cannot be taken seriously. This man is a fraud. Nothing is accurate. He misrepresented information. He made things up. He's giving them so he can diagnose patients. You know, stop. So you can't diagnose. Stop it. Hold on one second, guys. Kung Fu Panda. Yeah, sorry guys, my little Kung Fu Panda, he does seem obsessed with it. I mean, I am an advocate for putting these motherfuckers away, and I will talk about all these cases to expose them, and I will expose people like John, because like shame on you. Shame on you. There are real victims and real family. This is what I was saying earlier about the internet and how the culture of YouTube is drama and people going real life, and people forget that this isn't like, I'm a real person with a real life. You guys are real people with real lives. All the other creators, it's not like, you know, he compared Lauren to Brad Pitt and whatnot. Everybody is real people. When he's evaluating this guy, there are real victims that he really hurt. And he sold out. He sold out for money because experts get paid. You're not going to tell me that he did not get paid to lie on this report, and the government lit him up. And the judge, I'm not going to get into the judge right now because Kung Fu Panda really wants my attention. I have to go, but we can try. I can stay for a few minutes. So there's a price, right? So I'm this great guy on a pedestal and this and that, but look what he's doing in the dark. He's fudging. Hold on one sec, guys. I have a little guy and he came into my office and I don't like him to come on camera anymore, kind of because of what we were just talking about. People forget that there's like real people, and he pretends to be this like holier than thou, and they're so great and he's so smart and he's so this. No, he's a sellout, and he lies to the government and he lies to courts to get do you see that guy's rap sheet? Do you want him as your neighbor? I don't. I do not want him as my neighbor, and John helping him get out. He ended up getting the full sentence, if I'm not mistaken. So he got put away. But this is recently, like we are just today in 2026. This was in 2021, 2022. So he was with Lauren making these opinions. I think he had a son. What about the ones who like little boys? Because there's those too. Hold on one second. I gotta run outside. Hi. Okay. Kung Fu. What was this say? Hi, Melissa. Hold on, Kaden. They said hi. Kung Fu Panda says hi. Yeah, so you don't want them. So this is the thing. Like, I like when people come up front. Like, if you're like Lori Hellis, they talk about Lori Hellis, and she was this and she was that. Listen, she came straight up and was like, "I'm a piece of shit writing a book about all these murders." She just said it. She's like, I'm not making money right now, but I'm gonna make money on the book. But she just came right out and said it, right? She was just upfront. Like, she was just like, "This is what I'm doing." She didn't. As far as I know, she, it is what it is. Like, I feel bad for the Woodcocks and Crusha and Kobe for the treatment that they got by a lot of people, including the book and everything. Like, you just came to, what did Lauren call people? Trial tourists. These people are victims and you violate them over and over, and then John's trying to get people out of prison who deserve to be in there forever because all they do is hurt children. Do you know what that breeds? Why are you trying to help kids be abused? I will never support that ever. Okay. I'll never support it. I think it's weird that your wife wants to be away from you and your kid, and she's completely open about it. She stays at her girlfriend's house. Who thinks that they're girlfriends? Fucking Grayson with the midriff shirt. Not for you, bitch. Who thinks that they're girlfriends? They might be. You know, they might be. And that's fine, but just another lie, right? It's all about like status and all this stuff and trying to pull the wool over your eyes to make you believe things that are not true. Do not believe the things that are not true. Stop taking people at face value. People are she's like, I'm complex. I'm dynamic. Do you guys see that when she was on Radio Mormon on Christmas Eve and she was going to go to the In-N-Out Burger and she got her son is 8 and she was saying that he's mourning his childhood. What? He's 8. Let him believe in Santa. Let him be a child. Let him be a child. She told the world that her son is mourning his childhood and that it might be the last year for whatever. Like, what? What? You're your son's problem. You're your son's problem, not us. Not us. We're not you're the problem. And John, right? And now I know why he doesn't do anything about his wife's mental status and his son's well-being because he's a fucking he's a sellout. He's a fraud. He doesn't give a fuck who he hurts. He doesn't give a fuck. He just wants to be right. John just wants to be right. He wants to be heard. He wants to be seen. He wants to be the smartest one in the room. It's disgusting. And ever since that came out, I will never, ever look at him the same. I used to watch them for him. I couldn't stand her, but I stomached her. And it was like, so. And the big, like, I have like really straight teeth, I just do. I was born that way. But they fit my mouth, you know what I mean? Because they're mine. Her teeth are so big, and I think she's drunk that she slurs and the teeth are too big and she can't get the words out. And I think John likes her because she sits there all pretty with her makeup and her Botox, and she's like, "Yep, yep, that's right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're so smart. You're so smart, Dr. Babe." Did anyone else go, "He's not a babe. What is happening? Why are you calling him that?" You know what I mean? Like when they would talk, I talked about this with Para Women Radio the other day when they used to talk about Chad Daybell, and she would laugh and be like, "He looks like a potato." John looks like Chad Daybell. The fuck? Dr. Babe? Is that what you had to do because you were not married at 35 as an LDS lady? You were an old maid with compared to the rest of the LDS that get married at 17 and start popping out babies right, left, and sideways. I'm an Irish Catholic. I have 19 aunts and uncles. I am not hating. Okay. But that's just what that's what they do. Right? She was desperate. She wanted a doctor. She wanted this life. She wanted the outside life for everyone to be like, "Oh, I'm so jealous. Look at you. Look what you've become." And the whole world knows. Your gems might be, the wool over their eyes for now. right? Because they'll always have the followers that just think that they're just fucking they shit rainbows. How? I don't know. Do you not look? Do you only watch them? You know what I mean? Like if you put a hidden true crime, John Matthias, alarm at that, do you know how many of our channels will pop up? You know how many fucking channels, so many streams of just lighting them up, spitting out the truth about these people. But they won't. They don't want to. Ignorance is bliss. They want to. And listen, I'm gonna end with this because Kung Fu Panda and I are gonna go have dinner. I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna finish this. I have another few videos I want to go over with you guys just to show you that like not everything is as it seems. People should not be blindly following anyone and putting them on pedestals. It is okay to support. It is, but take the blinders off because you could be supporting the problem. They're the problem. There are victims, 3 victims of theirs that were victims of crime. They had family members murdered, multiple family members were. They all came out against hidden true crime and felt and told the world how violated they felt and the boundaries that were crossed. And the active searching them out. It's predatory. And you can like their material, you can like the way they do it, but it does not make them who they are and what they do. Eyes open. Stay awake. Look at these people for, oh, yes. Hi, King. Yeah, that's right. Hippie, how's Dylan? I have not been over to Dylan's stream. I cannot watch like my trials during the day anymore, kids. I have a whole new career and I'm busy all day and I like work with people now. I'm not like just in my bubble with all my IT equipment. So I don't get, you guys have to catch me up. Start texting me all the updates. I need them. I don't trust people who sue a lot. Yeah, and they're litigious. Imagine going after Crusha for fucking copyright. What cunt. Oh my God. Yes, if you guys could go ahead and smash the like button. It gets me out into the algorithm for more people to find us and hang out. And also make sure you're subscribed. Put on the notifications. I'm kind of a loose cannon. I may say I'm going to be on at 12, but then I don't come on at 3. We're not professionals here. I'm judgy. I'm opinionated. I swear. It's not for kids. It's commentary. And we go over it and we talk about the things that the gems won't talk about, the things that people hide. I love cases. I cover a lot of cases that some creators just won't go over because it has to do with kids. I try to be sensitive, but I draw a line at people preying on children, and we bring a light to those motherfuckers. So with that being said, I'm going to go have dinner with Kung Fu Panda. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I will be back on Sunday. Thank you, Pitbull. I love that you're here. I love that you're here. Yeah, hippie chick, text me like updates of stuff because I can like look it at on my stream. I mean on my break. He stopped streaming. Oh no, I'll have to reach out to him. I love Dylan. He's one of my faves. We were all in his chat every day. Thank you, hippie. Thank you. Hey, before you leave, do you listen to, yes, she's hysterical. I listened to her last night. I listened to her with Every Day with Jay and Crusha. They did like a New Year's thing. I think she's hysterical. I'd like to get with her. I'm kind of new, and I think people side eye like, where the fuck did this bitch come from? But yeah, I like her. I like her a lot. She's hysterical, and we have a lot of the same. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yes, thank you guys. Yeah, if you guys can leave a comments like under shorts and under videos, it really helps the videos get out there to other people. I want a crowd. I want people to find out the information that we're finding out and having our conversation. Our conversation is different than other channels. And even though I appreciate and support them and I am in their chats, we're different over here. And I love our community and everybody. She is so funny, Jolene. Hysterical. Yeah, she was good last night. They were on until 4 in the morning. And thank God, because Kung Fu Panda, I didn't get home till 5:30 from work, and he was asleep on the couch. And I was like, oh, maybe he's going to be out all night. No, kids. I came on here. He woke up at 9 o'clock. Girl, he was up until 4 a.m. Your girl was up until 4 a.m. with him. Oh, yeah. I was watching Crusha and Jolene and Every Day with Jay. with my earbuds and we're laying in bed and I had my phone and he had his tablet. I'm like, is it time for bed yet? Like, what is happening? Oh, Cheryl with an S. Good to see you, Mama. I wish I could give you a hug. Oh, thank you, Melissa. Thank you for being here, you guys. We have a big showing today. That's amazing. So I will be back I do Sunday mornings. I normally start at 10 a.m. I'm doing the JonBenet Ramsey case. So it's an unsolved case, obviously, of JonBenet Ramsey. She was killed 29 years ago. I had the privilege of speaking with Frank Zell. He's been investigating and uncovering everything that's happening in Boulder for the past 3 decades. And Sunday, we're going to go over an interview he did with David J. So I hope you guys can be here. Coffee time, get your coffee, get your cozy blanket, and we're going to go over some JonBenet Ramsey. Nothing is as it seems. How I thought that case took a crazy turn for me, and the things that I thought for many years is not what I think anymore, right? Keep your mind open to change, open to information. Yes, thank you. All right, guys. I will see you on Sunday. Bye. 10 a.m. Sunday. See you there with coffee.